Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chicago PD Season 12 Death and How It Impacts Everyone explained by Showrunner. Chicago PD showrunner Gwen Sigan has explained Season 12's shocking death, revealing how the character's demise will impact others on the team moving forward. In Chicago PD Season 12, Episode 1, a Detective Martel, Victoria Cartagena, is introduced as the latest member of the team. However, while driving with Ruzek, Patrick John Pfluger, at the end of the episode, she winds up getting shot and killed. This shocking moment serves as the end of the premiere, setting the stage for the rest of the season. Speaking with TV Insider, Sigan revealed Chicago PD Season 12 killed Martel so quickly to establish how Voight, Jason Begg, is struggling with his mortality after a near-death experience in Season 11. The showrunner explained how the new detective reflected those fears in her untimely demise, especially because of the character development she received. Sigan also explained how death can happen without drama, an important theme established for the season. Alongside Martel's quick death, the showrunner teased how Season 12, Episode 2 would follow this, presenting a real-time situation with Ruzek immediately after shots rang out. She also explains how it will impact the rest of the season, revealing the extent of violence and how quickly it can change lives. Check out what Sigan had to say below. Season 11 of the police procedural ended not only with Voight having a near-death experience, but also with Haley Upton, Tracy Spiridakos, leaving Chicago PD, the character seeking a new job at a federal agency. While it appeared Martel was going to be her replacement, the end of the Season 12 premiere shockingly killed her unceremoniously. Not only will this heavily impact Ruzek, who witnessed her sudden death, but also the team's leader as he continues to wrestle with his mortality following such a close call himself. With Martel's death, the tone of the new episodes has also been established, with the characters in Chicago PD having to deal with such a sudden loss to their team. She'd been established as having been with them for a month, meaning many connections were likely formed during her short stint. Dealing with the fallout of her death will also come with the arrival of Officer Kiana Cook, Toya Turner, whose debut in Season 12, Episode 2 will coincide with Ruzek dealing with the aftermath of his partner's death in real time. The fallout from Martel's death is expected to tie into the theme of mortality, something Sigan indicated will be prevalent throughout Season 12. This could mean Chicago PD will be the darkest season of the show so far, dealing with death in a more direct way than any of the previous seasons have. While there's still plenty of mystery surrounding what happens next, it's clear the detective's death will have wide ramifications for the team as new episodes arrive. As the shocking and heart-wrenching death in Chicago PD Season 12 takes center stage, it sends ripples through the entire intelligence unit, leaving a profound impact on each member. In an exclusive interview, showrunner Rick Ade discusses the layers of emotion, tension, and transformation that followed the tragic event. From the grief-stricken aftermath to the shifting dynamics within the team, Ade dives deep into how this pivotal moment reshapes the series and the characters in unexpected ways. The lead-up to the tragedy, a turning point. The death was not a random event. It was carefully woven into the fabric of the season's narrative, building up tension through various storylines. As Ide explains, in the world of Chicago PD, danger is always present. The stakes are constantly high. But when this character dies, it isn't just about losing a person, it's about losing a part of the family. It's the culmination of choices, sacrifices, and unfortunately, fate. Throughout the season, a mounting sense of unease hangs over the team. Members of the intelligence unit, particularly Detective Jay Halstead and Sergeant Hank Voight, have been struggling with personal demons. Their emotional turmoil becomes intertwined with the growing threat of organized crime. The tragic death feels inevitable to those who've been paying attention, but it still shakes everyone to their core when it finally happens. The impact on Jay Halstead, a deep, personal loss. Jay Halstead, played by Jesse Lee Soffer, is one of the most beloved characters in Chicago PD, and the loss of a close colleague or friend hits him hardest. Halstead is no stranger to pain, having faced personal losses before, but this death feels different. For Jay, this tragedy is a gut punch, Ade reveals. He's already dealing with so much: trying to balance his relationship with Haley Upton, the weight of his responsibilities, and his own personal demons. Losing someone in his inner circle reopens old wounds and forces him to confront the realities of his job in a way he hasn't before. The loss takes a toll on Halstead's psyche, and the audience witnesses his emotional unraveling. He starts questioning his role in the unit and even his commitment to the force. His anger and grief manifest in ways that cause friction between him and Upton. Their already fragile relationship is tested to its limits, and Jay is faced with the question of whether his role in law enforcement is worth the personal pain it causes. It's hard to overstate how devastating this death is for Jay, Aide continues. He's a person who cares deeply for those around him, and when he loses someone, it feels like a part of him is lost too. He starts to question whether he can continue doing this work, or if it's time for a change. Hank Voight. A leader in crisis. For Sergeant Hank Voight, Jason Begg, the death serves as a profound reminder of the weight he carries as the head of the intelligence unit. Voight has always been a man who operates in the gray areas of the law, using unconventional methods to get results, but the tragedy forces him to confront his own vulnerabilities. As Ide explains, Voight's always been a tough, unyielding character. He's seen the worst of the worst, and he's often had to make morally ambiguous decisions. But this loss is personal to him. He feels responsible, and it brings out a side of him that we haven't seen before. Voight's protective nature over his team becomes more pronounced as the season progresses. He's not just leading the unit, he's now their emotional anchor. The grief he feels is buried beneath the surface, but it manifests in moments of weakness that threaten to undermine his authority. Voight's struggle to hold it together is evident in his interactions with his team. He's fiercely determined to bring justice to his fallen comrade, but the emotional toll it takes on him is undeniable. Haley Upton, struggling with guilt and empathy. Detective Haley Upton, Tracy Spiridakos, has always been a reliable, determined, and compassionate member of the team. However, when tragedy strikes, she finds herself grappling with overwhelming guilt. Upton has always put her work first, but she begins to question her choices after the death. Aide elaborates, Haley's the kind of character who never takes her work home, but this loss shakes her to her core. She feels like she could have done more, and that feeling of guilt is difficult for her to shake. She also carries the weight of her relationship with Jay, which becomes complicated as their grief diverges. Upton's journey in the aftermath of the death is one of self-reflection. She has to balance her empathy for others with her own feelings of helplessness. Her dynamic with Jay shifts, and the two detectives find themselves at odds as they cope with their grief in different ways. It forces Upton to confront the question of whether she is truly cut out for this line of work, especially when the emotional toll begins to affect her decision-making. The impact on the unit. A shattered team. The death of one of their own sends shockwaves through the entire intelligence unit, and the fractures within the team are evident. This event changes the dynamics of the unit, Ede says. It exposes the cracks in their relationships and the toll that their work has taken on each of them. It forces them to come to terms with the reality of their profession. They're not just a team of detectives, they're a family, and the loss is felt deeply by everyone. Detectives Atwater, Leroyce Hawkins, and Ruzek, Patrick John Pfluger, each react to the tragedy in their own unique ways. Atwater, who has always been the moral compass of the group, becomes even more resolute in his desire to seek justice for his fallen teammate. Ruzek, on the other hand, struggles with anger and a sense of helplessness, feeling like he's failed to protect the people he cares about.